TFL Catch Division. My name is Kevin KP Pryor. I'm joined by Mr. Marshall, a.k.a. Al Chambers. And we're joined by another brother, and I know I'm getting old because I've seen this guy play ball, go to college, play, coach now, and really kind of just, being that pillar in the community that we have all come to respect and appreciate. Ladies and gentlemen, the brother to my left, welcome Mr. Sean Kellman. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks a lot for having me, bro.
Oh, no doubt. Happy holidays, man. You good? You pull that up a little bit. You stretch that mic out a little bit to you. You talking to it.
I'm just making sure.
There you go. You good.
You're good.
Now, talk about what you've been doing, man. I know you obviously through your travels, you play ball. You've been I know you coached for a few years, and I think you're now part of TFL, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Talk about that experience and working with the league and Al's unique vision that maybe you don't get from other established leagues like you get from the TFL league.
Well, the best part about playing with the TFL or being part of the TFL is the fact that it was a developmental league, and it gave us a transition from junior pro,
right?
And it really showed us how to be a semi-pro product.
Talking to it.
You got me?
Yeah, you can get into
so,
it. I know you got to get low. I know you're a big fella.
Yeah, it taught us to be a semi-pro product, and
right.
When we make our mistakes, TFL was so small. It was so small that when you make your mistakes, people really don't see it, and you can learn from your mistakes. But it was all about developing,
right?
And I think with any product is always developing.
Now, from a football aspect, I'm coming in a football aspect. When the TFL league came out, I was still working with MFL, Major League Football, and there's some of the things we were doing, but it was always like. I don't know, like a big brother, little brother. Now, I know you done played a lot of leagues. You done played college ball, and you were nobody little brother by any stretch of the imagination. Talk about the competition that you experience in the league that maybe kind of quells some of those myths that people think that it's not quality ball, quality coaching, or quality competition.
Well, to me, it's all pretty much in the same. It's all about what you do with your product. In every league, there are good teams and there are terrible teams.
Right.
So what you try to do is you try to find a place where your team will fit in, and you try to find a league where your team fit in.
Right.
You could play with any league in the world. I mean, literally, you could literally pay your league fee and play in any league in the world. But what are you going to get out of that? So it's all about what is going to come back to you on the long haul.
Right, no doubt. Al, you want to jump in?
Well, my question would be, what do you see where the leagues overall, because I'm not, we're about football, but I'm not just limiting to TFL. Just overall, what we call adult amateur football that we call semi-pro in the city. What do you see where we can improve or needs to change overall?
Well, I'm not no authority figure to speak on about what should.
But I'm sure you have some opinions, brother.
Improve about every other league. But every league is in their own comfort zone, and that's a good thing.
Right.
Nobody's extending further than what they have to do. I think the whole objective is to get as much people off the streets and doing positive things as possible.
Doubt.
So multiple leagues have to exist for that to happen. Then that's cool too. The major leagues that are in New York City, again, for the most part, everything is top heavy because players gravitate towards the good teams.
Right.
Or some teams are actually developed right and they become great teams while everybody else is still trying to pull pieces from all around the world. So, I mean, it's really not about the leagues. It's more about team owners and, them being more responsible.
Obviously being in this thing for a long time, I've always had a pet peeve, and it might annoy some folks. I didn't always play with great teams. I won't say the names of the teams out.
Call it out.
I'm not going to call it out, no. But, I haven't always played with great teams, but my focus has always been once I commit. I'm going to ride through good, bad, or ugly. I want to hear your opinion on this, Sean, because you've been around, you play quality teams, you've done a lot of things. You've had a resume. You have a resume that a lot of these semi-pro and amateur guys wish they had. Some intercollegiate, had some success in the semi-pro, acknowledged by your peers. You've had all that. Talk about just being part of TFL and hearing guys who want to wear 3-4 jerseys in a sport that really doesn't. It's hard enough to play one game where guys are playing 2 and 3 games a weekend and trying to compete. Talk about that from where you sit at now as an older player and a guy who's more mature.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was all for it.
Right.
You get the more football, the better.
Well, you're young. You got them young legs, man. You think you conquer the world.
But I definitely, the first thing to do is to understand that perspective.
Right.
College football and the NFL. College football, you only guarantee 10 games a year. NFL, you only really guarantee 16. But, with incentives, with money, scholarships, and everything else.
Right.
What they do is, those type of players, they work all year round, every day. They practice every day, but they don't really compete in games. So what they do is they build all of that up and they let it out at one time on that Saturday night or that Sunday night.
Right.
And the level that we're on, we're not privy to that. You can work out every day and you can practice every day, but realistically you're not. So what you try to do is you try to get all your football in one shot. That's basically like somebody who gets their liquor. They get paid on like a Friday,
right?
And they're drunk Friday and they're drunk
Just
Saturday.
Got paid Friday.
So
there you get all out.
So that's pretty much the idea that I've seen it with football. It's not 5 days a week for them.
Right.
It's I'm gonna go to one practice. I'm gonna call a coach and tell him I can't make it because I gotta work.
Right.
And then you're able to play 2 games in one weekend.
But as now kind of the elder statesman playing, how do you take that? Because I know obviously you're a guy that just kind of seeing you mature and grow. You're a guy that's not going to take that. You're going to voice your opinion and let guys know.
I was definitely going to get into that.
Right.
That's definitely. So now what it comes down to is responsibility and team structure. Can you allow that to happen on your team?
Right.
See, so if you don't allow it on your team, then it cuts down options.
Al, how do you kind of persuade as a commissioner? I know there are other leagues who will remain nameless that don't have a problem with it as long as they're able to field their units on their particular time set on Saturday or Sunday. They really don't care what other players or other guys do. What is your thought behind your league and your philosophy behind what's beneficial to your brand?
Unfortunately, because the players are paying to play, there really isn't much that you can say or do.
Right.
You can preach safety all you want, but at the end of the day, these guys are putting their bodies on the line.
Right.
They're putting up their money. Now, they're supposed to be putting up their money. Now, if you're an elite athlete,
right.
Obviously, the owner, as an owner, they just want to win games.
Right.
So they'll allow whoever to come in, disrupt their chemistry, and just to win a game or two. So what I try to discourage is that we got certain rules in place that, because we know guys are doing this,
right.
They got to play at least half the season.
Okay, so you have some type of boundaries
in order to be eligible for the playoffs. And with the leagues crossing the way they do, it's going to be very hard to do.
Right.
So that's why I put that in place, and I do believe MLF has that also.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the 5-star, but
but like that's what I said. Where it comes down to the responsibility of the owner, because
right.
the league could have that. You have to do those certain amount of games, and which is fine. They'll do whatever they got to do to qualify for the playoffs. Right. But then it leaves another product of those games where they don't show up. So it really depends on the ownership of what they allow and what they can't allow. I've had a few players that play on multiple rosters.
Right.
And I say multiple, probably 2 the most. The way you manage that is, you basically have to get them where they're obligated to.
They have, right, so they have an allegiance. There's always going to be a
where
one.
They're obligated to.
Right.
So, you could play with that team, but this is where home is,
Right.
So with that understanding, we was able to do the things that we was able to do because when it comes down to games, my team will show up.
Right.
When we play against the teams who have those type of problems and they're going to come to big games and stuff like that, you're losing out on opportunity to become a team, which is play as one, tackle as one, think as one. But if you're only there half the time, then you're only going to make half the plays.
Right.
That's what I see.
Right.
No matter how good you are.
No doubt. We're here talking to Kellman here at TFL. I keep forgetting TFL Catch Division. I want to say but I'm not going to say that. It's Tuesday night. DSN Network, DSN, www.DemetriusStudiosNetwork.com. Hope you're tuning in. I'm going to go back to you. Football season now has come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And in the world I come from, there's it's almost like Santa Claus. People talk really big between December and March about what they're doing with their programs, who they are, and everybody's going to have a Nike deal and have Jim Harbaugh come out and it's always visions of grandeur.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about just how you balance your teams and the realization of being business and the realization of being quality on the field performers, because there's two different worlds.
Mm-hmm.
I've known organizations in the past, unfortunately, have spent all their money on uniforms and have a place to play, or didn't think about the safety aspect of having young men have their helmets conditioned. So talk about some of the deterrents, and obviously I know that you can't police it wholly because that's just not realistic.
Right.
But talk about what you try to encourage your team members and organizations to do for safety and business purposes.
Well, for one, is I'm going to put in place that the coaches take the safety course that they give for the Pop Warner teams.
Right.
But I forgot what it's called. When they take the
heads up program.
Yeah, the heads up program.
Mm-hmm.
How to tackle properly.
Right.
Now, as you said, during off season, now is the time to search for, if you're going to get uniforms, do what you have to do about your uniforms, and by doing it early,
right,
the prices are different.
Yeah, catch that clearance.
Take the time to talk to these guys again about going to recondition your helmets and different things. Change the padding in your helmets. Encourage the guys to get into the gym, staying in shape as much as they can. Because in life you got to be prepared at all aspects.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and that's about the best that I could do.
No doubt. Well, again, I think that says a lot, because you at least put it in place. There's been times a lot of organizations don't even mention it. It's like that's not even their agenda or their concern. We got a few minutes left in the segment. Sean, real quick, obviously, again, you've been playing a while. What's the future like for you football-wise? Is another couple years left? I know you've done the coaching thing in the past with young people. I commend you for that. I've done that, and that's not easy. And you guys have won a couple of chips. So
you notice he's talking like John Madden, right?
Yeah, well, listen, man. He been doing it, man. And again, like I said, I know I'm getting old because I saw him when he was developing and he was kind of raw, and then watch him grow. But what's the future like for you football-wise, bro?
Well, football-wise, is definitely coaching is going to be, something I would definitely want to pursue, especially with the Bronx Colts having a blast over there.
Right. Respect to that, man. That's this honorable what you're doing with those young kids, man.
As a player, I really don't know. I could definitely play, but it's about the time, the energy, and the focus.
Right.
If I can't dedicate my time to the game, as in getting into the gym, doing what I'm supposed to do, getting my mind focused, getting my legs and my body focused, I will never be that player that shows up on Sunday and just plays football. Right. That's
why you got that diamond on your finger there, bro. They don't give them out for free. No doubt.
But if I'm not gonna, dedicate myself, for an entire year or however it may be, then I won't disrespect the game by just putting.
Have you made a decision for 2016 yet, or are you still in debate mode?
Well, I don't know. I want to play.
Right.
I want to play. I want to, start working out and all that stuff, but it all depends on what my schedule is looking like later on.
Right.
Everything will sound great here. Commit to a team now, and start doing OTAs and everything else, and then I can't do it because something pops up in the schedule.
No doubt. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. The maiden voyage TFL Catch Division. Yeah. Continued success, man. Happy holidays to you and the family.
Definitely, you too, man.
And we're gonna try, man. I need to get back in the gym with you, but I need a little help. We're gonna take a quick break. Again, DSN Network TFL Catch Division, maiden episode. Come on back.
DSN, the Matrix Studios Network.